Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of the Mental Muscles mini-series. For those of you who are new to me and what I do, I am Danielle McDonough. I am a former Division I and professional ice hockey player, and I have my master's degree in sport and exercise psychology. For the past 13 years, I have been working with athletes on the mental side of performance. Inside my Mental Muscles program, I've helped thousands of athletes dealing with overall athlete anxiety, which includes low self-esteem, confidence issues, controlling their emotions. If they have a sudden drop in performance, they're dealing with lots of pressure, being a student athlete, feeling burnt out, fear of failure, those types of things. And I also help athletes simply level up their game by teaching them tools and strategies they need to consistently perform to their fullest potential, no matter what the circumstances are, and how to cope when things go wrong, because things go wrong. Today, we are going to discuss how to set yourself or your athlete up for a successful season. I'm going to give tips for both athletes and parents again in this episode. So as a new season and school year get underway, athletes and parents can feel both excited and maybe a little bit nervous as we get going, right? It's important to remember that this journey is not just about the game. It's about growth, resilience, and the unwavering support that fuels success. Okay, so in this training, I'm sharing my top tips for athletes to start strong and stay focused, along with actionable tips for parents to provide them with the ultimate support system. Okay, so let's dive in. For athletes, here are my tips to have the best season yet. Start off great and can carry on throughout the entirety of the season. Okay, so number one, embrace the learning curve. Okay, so every season, I want you to remember this, every season is a chance to grow and evolve. Embrace the challenges and use them as opportunities to level up your game. So maybe you're not on the team you wanted to be on. That's okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be for whatever reason you're supposed to be there. Maybe you're with a coach this year that's going to teach you so much more than you could have learned on any other team, right? So embrace where you're at, and use that to move forward and really become a student of the game and allow yourself to learn as much as possible. Okay. Next, focus on the controllables. Set intentions daily that are within your control. By concentrating your effort, attitude, and preparation, you're setting yourself up for success. Okay, so things that are within your control. I usually have my athletes set intentions for the day when they first wake up, and intentions for maybe school, intentions for practice. And it's important to note, though, that these are things that are within your control. So saying, I'm going to go out and score 3 goals in this game, that's not what we're talking about here, okay? Because ultimately that's not within your control because there's other people involved, okay? The other team, the goalie, referee, all of those factors come into play, okay? So focus on the things that you have control over. The top 2 things you have control over always: effort and attitude, okay? So set intentions based on those things and you'll be setting yourself up for success daily, okay? And they don't have to be big, they can be small. Next, remember your why. Why do you play, right? Maybe it's the thrill of competition or personal growth, or just, something that you love about your sport. Keep your motivation burning all season long by continuing to revisit your why you play. Okay. And that's going to fuel you throughout the season. And this is especially important because things get hard. Okay. It's not butterflies and rainbows all season long. Things happen, things get tough. And so you want to have a good, solid list of the reasons why you love your sport to reconnect with that and get you through those hard times. Okay. I can't express that enough. That's a very important tool to have, list to make, and revisit it as the season goes on. If you want to dive deeper into that, it's actually chapter 4 in my book, The Empowered Athlete, available on Amazon and in Pure Hockey stores across the country starting August 21st, which is really exciting. Okay. And lastly, practice gratitude. I always tell my athletes, end each day by jotting down 1 to 3 things, 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for that happened in the day. Okay, gratitude keeps your mind positive and focused on the good, giving you the mental edge on and off the field. And what I mean by that is, you're not going to think you play well after every single game. Some games you're going to come off and be like, oh my gosh, that was horrible. If you're practicing gratitude at the end of each day, right? And again, it doesn't have to be big things, can be little things like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that my friend brought me Starbucks this morning. That was so nice. I was feeling really tired and it really got me through my first class this morning, right? Teeny tiny things. But what this does is you do this every day, it builds that muscle so that how we relate this to sport now is maybe you have a game where you feel like you didn't play as well as you could have. it's teaching you now to find the positives in situations that aren't maybe as initially thought of as being positive. Does that make sense? So if you have a game where you're like, oh, I didn't play the best today, because you've been doing this gratitude every single day, you're teaching yourself to shift gears, to make that mental pivot and find the good in the game. And that is huge for you as part of being a student of the game. Okay. So for parents, how to be your athlete's ultimate support system. Okay. So the first one, embrace the learning curve together. Okay. Every game presents new opportunities for growth. Teach your athlete to approach challenges with a positive attitude and an open mind. Remind them that stepping out of their comfort zone is where real progress happens. I'm sure we've all heard that so many times, but it's very, very true. Okay. And most importantly here, make sure you lead by example when it comes to this too. They learn a lot by watching how you act and react to certain situations. Remember, for the athletes, I talked about the two things that they have control over, which we're going to talk about in a second, but effort and attitude, that goes for you too. So you have control over how you choose to act in a certain situation, and you have control over how you choose to react in a certain situation. And remember, those eyes are on you always. Okay. So you're teaching them a lot just in the way that you're presenting yourself. Okay. Okay. So focus on the controllable mindset is the next one. Empower your athlete by helping them set daily goals that are within their control. Okay. And again, this does not include going out and scoring 3 goals a game. They cannot control that, and they will only be setting themselves up for failure in doing so. Help them identify things that are within their control and focus on those things moving forward. Again, this is where setting, being a good example comes into play. I can't tell you how many parents that I've talked to who like pay their kids money for goals. Just please, if you're one of those people, no harm, no foul now, but now you know the information, so please don't do that anymore. It's just setting them up for failure before they even start, because they cannot control whether or not they score a goal. Something else to focus on instead, something that goes into the process of scoring a goal, right? So maybe they've been working really hard on improving their slap shot. Okay, what goes into their slap shot, that weight transfer, the follow through, those types of things. So focus on pieces of their process. All right. So like something that they could focus on is every time I get, like if they're a defenseman, every time I get the puck on the blue line, I'm going to take a quick look and really push myself to get my slap shot off. Because a lot of times, at least for me when I was growing up, I was nervous to take my slap shot from the blue line because I didn't view it in my head as being perfect yet. A whole other topic, right? But push, again, going back to comfort zone, encourage them to push themselves outside their comfort zone and take that shot. It doesn't matter if it's amazing. It doesn't matter if it flubs, but the fact that they're pushing themselves to do it, right? They have control over that. And then from there, they can use that as an opportunity to learn and grow. Do you see the difference there? It's not every time I get the puck on the blue line, I'm going to score a goal. Very, very, very different, because then when they don't score a goal when they're on the blue line, now they're upset and they have those, failure thoughts, mistakes, all of that stuff, and that downward spiral. Very, very different things. Okay. So help them focus on the things that they have control over, part of their process, effort, and attitude. Next, keep the why alive. Engage in heartfelt conversations with them about why they love their sport. Remind them of their initial passion and motivation. We all have that when we first start, and somewhere, it kind of gets lost sometimes as we get older. So, have that initial conversation with them. Tell me what you love about it, or maybe do the why I play exercise in the book together, and then you'll know their reasons, and then you can constantly remind them of them in those times where it's harder, because sometimes it is nice to have that outside person come in and just be that reminder for them. It's going to serve as a powerful source of inspiration, which will propel them forward even when those challenges come up, or, it becomes a really long season or whatever it is. It's really going to help them get through it. Next, the gratitude game as a family. I love this. Incorporate gratitude into your family routine. Every night, if you can have dinner together, or even if you can't have dinner together, maybe it's one of the last things everybody does together before they go to bed, right? Gather around and share things that you're grateful for in that day. Maybe just one thing per person. Go around. You know how like people do that at Thanksgiving time? That's sometimes the only time people do this activity. Make it a daily thing, and you will be surprised at how much this helps them, but also changes things for you too, and your family as a whole. It cultivates a positive mindset, fosters resilience, enhances mental strength. It also strengthens that mental muscle I talked about before, that helps them to find the positives in a game they played that maybe wasn't their best. And that's really important. Okay. Lastly, celebrate the journey. Okay. Wins are great. but you want to teach them to celebrate the journey itself. Okay. Encourage them to acknowledge small victories and effort and progress. Okay. Again, focusing on the things that they have control over. Going back to my example of taking that slap shot on the blue line, they pushed themselves outside their comfort zone and did it. Celebrate that. Even if it was a flub, who cares? Celebrate the fact that they pushed themselves and they did it anyways. That's huge. And then what that's going to do is it's going to get that positive momentum rolling, and then they're going to do it again and again and again. And pretty soon that shot is going to be a rocket from the blue line. Okay. And they're going to be doing it all the time. And they're going to think back like, I can't believe I was so afraid to do this all the time. I may or may not be speaking from personal experience there. By creating a supportive environment that values growth over outcome, you instill confidence and a sense of self-worth in your young athlete. And say that again. Creating a supportive environment that values growth over outcome instills that sense of confidence. Okay. So that's really, really important. So let's make this season a remarkable journey of growth and achievement for everyone. Athletes, remember that your determination and positive mindset will carry you far. Okay. Parents, your unwavering support will nurture champions both on and off the playing surface. All right. So together, all of us, we're creating a winning team, which is what's better than that, right? If you're interested in learning more about getting your athlete off to a great start this fall season, and maintaining it as the year goes on, send me a message and I'll show you how I can help your athlete improve their performance over the next 30 days or less. My fall cohort registration is closing August 31st, and I start my fall cohort. That's a hard word to say, September 1st. So you'll want to get in before that happens. Lastly, give me a few takeaways in the comments. Let me know what resonated most with you. And as always, if you have things that you want me to discuss, please let me know, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.